Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the March 17th, 2026 work session of the Town of Ossining. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Councilmember Fields Stillwell,
Here.
Councilmember Manicchio,
Here.
Councilmember Weiss,
Present.
Supervisor Feldman.
Present.
Okay, we have supervisor and town board announcements.
Okay. First off, happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. Remember to celebrate responsibly. All right. All right. As of yesterday, New York State has declared a burn ban to be in effect from now until May 14th. Spring always brings a higher risk of wildfire, so it's important for you to do your part and follow the rules. For more information on the burn ban, visit dec.ny.gov or ask any of our firefighters. Moderate income households in New York may now qualify for monthly discounts on their utility bills through the Expanded Energy Affordable Program, EEAP. To learn more, visit nyeeap.com/program. AARP Tax Aid is running free tax prep on Thursdays in the Ossining Public Library through April 9th. To make an appointment, please visit freetaxhelpwestchester.com or call 914-353-0345. Jazz at the Lodge returns every Thursday night. Please visit jazzathelodge.com for the schedule and details. Sustainable Westchester wants to remind everybody that the Grid Rewards program is open and free to join. You can get paid by simply being smart with your electrical usage. Visit sustainablewestchester.org for more information. Bethany Arts Community welcomes artists 21 plus working in any discipline and medium, including visual arts, sculptors, writers, and more, to our fall multidisciplinary residency. Enjoy an environment where artists from different disciplines and walks of life can work in a community near each other, creating opportunities for generative collaboration and cross-pollination. The 2026 Fall Multidisciplinary Residency runs for 1, 2, and 3 week sessions of 12 artists from September 22nd to October 6th. Artists are provided room and board, a private studio conducive to the artist medium and/or project, 3 meals a day, and a $225 stipend per week upon completion of the residency. If you are interested, you can apply at bethanyarts.org. The deadline to apply is May 6th. T-Town's annual pancake brunch is set to return Saturday, March 21st. Enjoy hotcakes, maple syrup made right there, coffee, and more. There will also be crafts celebrating the sugar maple tree. Westchester Collaborative Theater will be presenting The Last Flapper on Saturday, March 21st at 7:30 p.m. For more information or tickets, please visit wcttheater.org. Grace Hall Spring Market Community Gathering is scheduled for March 28th. You can expect live music, local vendors, and food. It will be held at 7 Old Albany Post Road from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. And remember that Neighbors Link is a great source of information. For our immigrant population, please visit their website, www.neighborslink.org. You can click resources to register to attend informational webinars about knowing your rights in English and in Spanish, or to find information on trusted professionals. As always, our Ossining Public Library will be hosting many events, including movies, crafts, meditation, tutoring, yoga, book clubs, and much more. Please see their website at ossininglibrary.org for more information. And the Loft LGBTQ+ Community Center has events and programs, resources, and presentations, all dedicated to providing support to everyone who's a part of the LGBTQ+ community, as well as many virtual and in-person support groups and clubs for a multitude of different topics. Please check out their website at loftgaycenter.org for more information. And there are many other fun and interesting events being held locally. You can look at the supervisor's update on the supervisor's webpage to see them. Also, it's petitioning season, so if you see people walking around with clipboards, knocking on doors, they are probably trying to get the candidates on the ballot. Give them a hand. Okay, Thank you. Do my colleagues have anything?
No.
Thank you.
Moving along to board resolutions. Contract River Jam Summer Concert Series musical performers. Resolved that the town board of the town of Ossining authorizes the Recreation and Parks Superintendent Bill Garrison to sign an agreement with musical performers for the 2026 Summer River Jam Summer Concert Series. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contract YourSoundman.com LLC. Resolved that the town board of the town of Ossining authorizes the supervisor to sign an agreement with YourSoundman.com LLC, Pleasant Valley, New York, for sound services for the 2026 River Jam Concert Series. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
2025 year-end budget adjustments. Resolved that the town board of the town of Ossining approves the following budget adjustments for the year-end 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Can I have a motion and a second to adjourn into the work session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
So for our work session, first up, we have a departmental report from Superintendent of Highway and Cemetery, Pete Connell.
Yay, Pete.
Hey. Have a seat.
Good evening, everybody. So for this quarter, I guess you could say snow would be the big word in the highway department. So with the 13 inches falling on the 25th and 26th of January, and of course the blizzard on the 23rd, leaving 23 inches on our town roads. So staff worked on some 16 snow events this quarter. That included snow plowing, salting, and opening of narrow roads, intersections, and dead-end turnarounds. It's a highway department report, but parks and cemetery staff comes out also and helps us clear our roads. So, we put out a good team for that. All our sanitary lift stations were cleared of snow within 3 days. That's very important in case we have to get access after each snow event. We continue to order road salt and brine, make sure we have a sufficient supply for the rest of the winter. We ordered over 500 tons of salt and 1,000 gallons of brine just this quarter alone. So our salt shed is in good shape and it's full at this time. In between storms, there wasn't that many days really, but we continued with pothole repairs and with temporary asphalt until we can get the permanent blacktop very shortly. The department responded to numerous water main breaks in the last quarter. Many were in the town, probably 15 or so out of the 20, I think, the latest number. So, we go and mark out our sewer lines and offer assistance, to the water department where needed. Our sanitary sewer line hotspots were jetted clean in January. And in between the storms and the cleanups, a reception counter was installed in our highway department office. And that area was repainted, as was our office manager, Diana's office too.
Looks great, Pete.
Thank you.
Is that done in-house?
Excuse me?
Was that done in-house?
No,
Okay.
no. The painting was.
Okay.
Yeah. Staff has begun to permanently repair the roads. We just started line cutting, the trenches due to the, numerous water main breaks. We're getting ready for the permanent patch. We also began yard waste pickup last Friday. So people are starting to put it out with a few nice days. So yard waste is usually every Friday. And just last Friday, we visited Park School kindergartners to show them the large snowplow truck that they named, which was Snowtorious Big. They wanted to see how the plow operated and the salt spreader. And a special shout out goes to Juan Toribio, who engraved the name of the truck on the side body, on the wood on the side body. It was very nice. It was a nice little time. They were very appreciative. On the cemetery side, there has been 12 interments so far this year. Again, due to the large amount of snow we received during the last couple of months, it made graveside services extremely hard. 6 of the burials were in section 12, and that has some of the steepest hills in the cemetery. Parks and cemetery staff had to, find ways to navigate around those buried markers and avoid damaging the expensive headstones. And we did a great job on that. But we weren't able to, safely remove a lot of the excavated material. So we had to leave it there. We couldn't get the Bobcat in. So those piles we made until the weather improved about 3 weeks later, and now it's all clear. So a lot of worn spots from the equipment and being so wet and sliding on the snow, but we'll get a seed and take care of that in the next few weeks. The cemetery was closed during the blizzard on the 23rd. It reopened on the 25th with the assistance of the highway department backhoe removing the snow, and then we were able to push it off. We did postpone one interment due to extreme weather conditions. And cemetery staff also, assisted the highway department with the many snow plowing operations during the last quarter. And last week we began restoring the damage to the grounds from the machinery, to perform those burials, as I just mentioned. And those areas will be regraded, filled in with topsoil and seed. And our tree pruning program began this month throughout the cemetery where needed on the ornamental trees. So I have.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
And I would like to say those kindergartners were very cute.
Yes.
They used it as a writing assignment. They wrote a letter to our highway department asking if they could name a snowplow, and that was their writing assignment, that their teacher taught them that writing a letter could get something done. So it was really cute. But I do have to say, we got almost nothing but compliments on the snow removal in the town. So we appreciate the good work that you do, your whole team does, including cemetery and parks, so everybody together. We weren't getting yelled at, so thank you.
Yeah, that's always good.
Yes.
Thank you. Mhm.
Good job.
You do a good job. You can really tell when you drive over, the
Yeah.
town line too.
Yeah,
Our
much better
surrounding.
than the adjacent municipality, but there's a big difference.
Right on the borderline.
Yeah.
All right,
So,
thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
thank you.
Next up, we have from the Parks Department, Mark Gallagher.
Hello, thank you for joining us.
Welcome. Good evening.
Go around for me. All right, so since the last update in the beginning of December, we've been working on the Gerlach Field fence project. We were able to finish the drainage behind the outfield fence line, install the outfield mow strip, and the annual bidder installed the fence. For the outfield fence, we still have to install 2 foul poles. We built them. The fence install will attach the fence to that. Just ran out of nice weather. We still need to finish the backstop, the baseline curb, the fence on the backstop, and then continue the drainage to the wood line. New layer of clay across the field and top dress the outfield with topsoil. Obviously, the winter we had, we plowed snow with the highway department starting in December all the way to February. And then after we're done plowing with the highway department, we don't finish off our parks areas. We started cleaning and organize our shop. We filled our last available space with some nice shelves. The start of January, we continued with working on the shop, getting rid of old paint and things we don't use anymore, built a stand for some of our concrete material. This is usually our time to get organized, before everything starts up in the springtime.
Thank you.
Yeah, just tap.
Now
it,
it's
see?
green. Sorry. We fixed the leak over at the cemetery for the shop. We started servicing all of our landscape and field maintenance equipment. We replaced broken power washer in our shop, burnt out motor on one of our air compressors, installed the pulley system across the top of our shop for our ladders. We didn't have any room and we didn't want to leave them outside. We assisted the cemetery department with a lot of the burials this winter. And as Pete had mentioned, it was very tough with the snow and the hills and everything, but we got it all done. The village did their snow removal at Cedar Lane. We assisted them with our skid steer and our snow blower attachment and made quite a mountain of snow over there. We cleaned the snow off the roof of the Arts Center twice to prevent any damage from, obviously they just replaced that roof, so that was pretty important. We started making concrete steppers. The first project we're going to do is the Gerlach stairs from the parking lot up to the aqueduct. The steppers cost about $500 a step. That would be to buy them if we did, but that's the price of one pallet of concrete. We can make 9 steps with that. So we saved about $10,000 to $12,000 by making them ourselves. We're making concrete benches as well. We already have one out down at the waterfront. Got a lot of good feedback on it. We cleaned out our enclosed trailers, installed new grass whip rack, fuel caddy, brought them up to Hudson River Truck and Trailer for inspections, tailgate service, and new electric brakes. Going into March, we finished up the snow blowing at Cedar and dumping the snow. Started to clean up some of the garbage that was laying around in the parking lot. We ordered new cleaning supplies, waiting for all of our baseball field supplies to come in. It's still way too wet, but within the next few weeks, 2 weeks probably, we'll start up over at Gerlach. We started separating the pile of dirt and rock that we've had up in the backside of Cedar Lane from previous jobs in the past that just got thrown there and piled up. So we're screening it, separating the rock, and hopefully we could make topsoil out of that and just recycle it. Rest of the month, we'll keep building new stone steppers, a few more benches, and we will be cleaning the beach and the waterfront and the boat ramp and putting the docks in by April 1st. And like I said, we'll be at Gerlach, start spring cleanup. And our first event is April 25th, which is Earth Day. So other than that, we're ready to hit the road. That's it.
Great.
Thank you.
Good job.
Okay, there is a slight chance rally is coming to town on the March 28th or 25th. Oh, wait. No. 28th.
Okay.
Up to 3,000 people. They're going between Terry. They were supposed to be in Terrytown, but they may end up here.
Waterfront?
Mhm.
Okay.
So just get it ready.
That's it. Thank you very
All
much.
right, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Good job.
And thank you for the hard work and making sure that while we did take the village's snow, that you maintain the recreation area that is very popular.
Yeah. No problem.
So thank you.
Thanks.
We have Town Planner Valerie Monastra to speak to us about tone zoning code updates.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
All right, so I'm here again to go through another section of the zoning. So this is different. This is a new section you haven't seen yet. This particular section had a lot less edits than the last month discussion and section of the zoning that we reviewed. This one really focuses on conditional use permits and approvals of site plans. So I just want to highlight a couple things that I think are the largest changes to the zoning associated with both of these. First of all, with conditional uses, we just kind of cleaned that up. So that wasn't really much of any particular substantive change. But for the approval of site plans, right now, currently, site plans are, if you have a single or two family house, you just come before the boards for architectural review approval. But what we have found over the last few years that because of stormwater and some other engineering issues associated with some of these sites, that some of those elements start being looked at. And theoretically, it should be really focused on architecture review at the Architectural Review Board. But because of some of the complexities just in general with current regulations, We're recommending that single family and two family, these are new homes, not necessarily additions, receive site plan approval. So they still would be before the same board because the planning board sits as the architectural review board. But this would make sure that the responsibilities themselves would definitely be codified as opposed to, naturally starting to look at some of the stormwater elements, but theoretically, they should be really focusing on just architecture review.
Okay.
And it's all for new site plan, new.
This would be right for new
new
homes.
construction.
That's correct. That's correct. There is already associated with
We don't currently require stormwater runoff for new homes?
so technically your stormwater requirements, oh, go ahead. I thought you were moving it over, are 1 acre or greater. That's the requirements for doing the stormwater pollution prevention plan. However, whenever we do site plan approval, we always look at stormwater associated with site plans. But technically, if it was just a single family house that just required ARB approval, stormwater wouldn't necessarily have to be something of focus for the boards.
Okay.
It's something that the building inspector could take into consideration, before issuing a building permit, but that's really, a lot of it's really requires like engineering review.
What happens sometimes is that projects come in for subdivision approval, but they don't have the level of detail of the precise design of the home. They're vacant lots that they're subdividing so that they can be homes. So they're before the planning board for subdivision approval before that level of detail has been fleshed out, and then they come back for ARB approval. So there's kind of this gap in between where you would normally look at those types of improvements and how they're impacting stormwater, like Valerie was mentioning. So it really just closes the gap a little bit. And for a lot of these applications, like Valerie said, they're coming in for ARB anyway. And so they can be looked at currently at that time for design and architectural as they normally would under ARB while they're being looked at for site plan. So it doesn't necessarily, the planning may be, and what the applicant has to submit will likely be more comprehensive because you're addressing these site plan issues. But in the reality and practice is because you have the same board and the same members, as Valerie mentioned, sitting in both capacities, there does tend to be that overlap of bleeding, the site plan issues kind of bleeding into the architectural review as it is. So it's really just to formalize what generally happens in practice anyway. And also just for the board and for the public, in case anyone isn't familiar, conditional uses are also known as special permit uses. So basically they're uses that have already been identified in the code, so by the town board at some period in time as being uses that are permitted and are in harmony with the zoning district in which they're located, but they require an additional level of review in the form of the conditional use to make sure that they're not going to cause any adverse impacts, and that if there are any specific legislative conditions on how that use operates, that those uses are being satisfied. But those conditions, assuming that they're being complied with, would require, it would be a very hard justification to not approve the permit. So it's a pretty low standard. Most recently, the board may recall that you addressed this with the artist communities, with Bethany, with putting those special permit conditions in the code.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the last couple of things are just additional text for updating items for review for planning board under site plan review. And then I just wanted to note, we did remove lighting because lighting now has its own section from the prior regulations that we submitted. So that's really why that was removed more than anything, so that's not repeating itself within the zoning. And then finally, the other thing we added was reservation of parkland. You technically have it in your subdivision regulations, and for the most part, that's where you will see this being applied. But the New York State town law does allow for reservation of parkland for both site plan and subdivision approvals in either or scenario. So we just thought we just update it so that your zoning now reflects New York State town law.
I'm curious, in very broad terms, do modifications like this impact a project? I'll use an example, but not specifically Rivendell, because they haven't completed the process. They haven't put spade in the ground. So would this impact a project at that stage, for instance?
Yeah, so technically, we still have to, we'll have to finalize that with the town board, but you have a couple of different options, but for the most part, yes, a lot of times it will reflect based upon, you know, anything that's in the pipeline. But for the most part, the regulations that we're proposing to update, I think are ones, a lot of it is practice that's already taking place at the planning board level. And then the other aspects really on everything that I'm looking at, I don't think is really going to affect that particular or any particular project that's potentially pending for the town board at this point.
Okay.
So, so this is getting close to the last couple sections you're going to see. We do have a few more sections that are currently being reviewed by your town attorney. We will be bringing those back to you in April, and those will help start to codify your like recommendations in the open space plan.
Okay.
And then also the tree revisions to the tree law, which was something that the EAC, your Environmental Advisory Council specifically wanted.
Right, they've been
And
looking at that. I
yes,
haven't
and
seen-
we've been working with them, and we have a version that's ready to come. We also been working with the town, the tree arborist as well.
Okay, so you have a draft?
Yes, and that's
Okay.
also being reviewed by your attorney. So those three components will be coming back to you soon.
Okay, great. Sounds good. Questions?
No, straightforward.
No, this one was easier than last. one.
Yes, it was.
And then do you want to talk about the open space plan and the adoption process that's going
Yeah.
to follow through it?
So I think Martha reminded me that we have a grant associated with the open space plan, and she'd like to get that closed and the bus.
We're just waiting to get $1,000 back. That's all we need. That's
Right, but as part of as part of the closure for the grant, the town board does need to like complete the process. And so the process can be for an open space plan. You can either, you know, they like you can like basically acknowledge it in a resolution. You can incorporate it as part of your comprehensive plan as like an addendum to your comprehensive plan, or you can also adopt the open space plan by local law, or actually have local laws that reflect some of the recommendations in the open space plan. And again, you know.
Right, so do you
So-
have Chrissy, do you have a suggestion on where that fits best?
Well, I mean, I'll defer to Valerie because she looked at it much more in depth, but I think this is more akin to a comprehensive plan in that I'm not sure that making it a local law as part of the code would actually
Right.
be effective in terms of
That's
like
correct.
enforcement or specific requirements, kind of like with the comprehensive plan, which has policies and goals that are now being incorporated through the zoning amendment process that Valerie's been discussing with you for quite a while now. I think it would make the most sense to do it as an amendment, as an addendum to the comprehensive plan, only because there's a requirement to look at the comprehensive plan every, I guess, 10 years.
So, yeah.
So I don't know if that might be beneficial in making sure that like we look at this regularly instead of just adopting it and then, you know, it just sits there and perhaps gets stale. But I don't know that adopting it as a local law would be effective, but I would also want to look at what the procedural requirements are for doing it as an addendum to the comprehensive plan. If there may be additional noticing referral requirements for that, as opposed to if we do it by a resolution. So If timing is an issue, we could certainly start with a resolution and then. Like,
Yeah.
an addendum to the comprehensive plan, if based upon further review, that seems to be appropriate.
Yeah, I think so because when I looked at the requirements to submit the last payment, they just wanted to have like a certified resolution and proof that basically the plan was adopted and that the board is okay with going forward with it.
Right, and I think one of the things with the resolution versus, like, I agree with Christy that like the actual local law itself is not necessary. One of the things that I wanted to take a look at is, while we have developed the open space plan, we are actually going to be implementing a number of the regulatory recommendations,
Right, that was my question.
So because we're doing that, we might be able to, we can take a look at the recommendations and I can work with Christy to see if it really makes sense to have that as part of like an addendum to a comprehensive plan, since so much of it's going to be implemented, versus having whatever regulations associated with it. Because I do have, and this is stuff that's coming towards this board and also being reviewed by the town attorney, but I do have some recommendations in some of the updates to refer to the open space plan during the review of certain properties, or requiring clustering of certain properties identified in the open space plan. So if that's the case and that gets adopted, the open space plan by reference would be within that local law. So Christy and I can work on the different options and make sure that whatever one we proceed with makes sense for like what's actually going to be implemented as part of the open
Okay,
space.
so a lot of the things we discuss in the open space plan will be put into our code.
Yes,
Okay,
that's the next round that you'll be getting.
okay. So that makes sense.
So yeah, we'll identify the exact, but I do think we could probably start on like at least the resolution and then figure out if we need to actually make it an addendum to the comprehensive plan.
Okay. This is gonna go.
Put it on for next week's agenda, at least a resolution to approve it, or should we just wait and hold on? Put on. Okay. Okay, so I'll make note of that to put it. Okay,
It's a good route.
thank you.
Okay, everybody?
Yeah.
Good. Yay. All right, where are we?
Do we have anything for executive session?
Yes, advice of counsel, contracts. I got this. I think that covers it. And probably, advice of counsel, contracts, and probably personnel.
Personnel? Okay. Can I have a motion in a second?
So moved.
Second. Hey, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us on this lucky day. Next week we will be at the courthouse for our regular legislative meeting. So until then, be well, stay warm, enjoy your baseball games.